Hello, everyone. I would like to share something today with all of you, which I have been really contemplating a lot in my own life. With the situation we're dealing with in the world now, the balance or the integration between individual and community really comes into focus, and it's more important now than ever. We need to look at every action or inaction that we do or not do. This contemplation came to me as I was contemplating on the difference between the Western culture and the Eastern culture. And even though nowadays, the world is so connected, and many of us are being influenced and impacted by the different culture that we originally came from. So like myself, I was born and grew up in Hong Kong, and now I'm living in Thailand. And my mom and sister is in Vancouver, so I visit Vancouver a lot. My late husband, he was Australian, and so it's I have experienced the difference between the Eastern culture and the Western culture. And what got me thinking lately is how different it is, and how the difference impact us in our own life in terms of our actions and of course our belief systems, because that's where our actions all come from. It's where our conditioning, our patterns, our belief systems come from. And it's very much from the environment that we grew up with. So the contemplation that came to me recently was, it's of course it's very complicated. So what I'm about to share is I kind of put it into more simple ways for me to be able to express it. And so to kind of put it simply, okay, so please understand maybe this is an oversimplification, but it is for us to kind of get a feeling of the difference. And the difference that I feel is Western culture is very much about individual. It's about, finding my own way, my own voice, my individuality. That's very much the Western culture, so to speak. And the Eastern has always been more about communal, the tribal, the collective. And it always, for me, okay, I'm speaking from my own experience, and the feelings between the difference is that it's like we have to choose between the individual or the communal. Do I choose my own need or do I choose the community need? Community sometimes, especially growing up in a Chinese family, so it's about the family, about the tribe, and I've experienced this throughout my life. And it was not until I started on, my own spiritual search, which was after my divorce in my mid-30s, that I started more about exploring my own individual needs. Not saying that, before that I didn't, serve my own needs. No, but it's in terms of the balance, it's more about the communal, the family, which is the conditioning in the East as a Chinese. And so as I start my spiritual path, I move towards, it's kind of like a pendulum. And sometimes this is how I experience our life is, in order to come into balance, the swing is necessary to kind of swing to the other end. But then somehow it is about integration, it's about coming into the middle. So the search brought me to really go into finding my own individual voice, what is my needs and all that. And I swing to that extreme a lot, but of course I feel like all of us went through situations like that, our childhood conditioning, the cultural conditioning, it's pretty strong in all of us. So even though, I swing to that extreme of finding my individual needs, walking that path, but somehow there's still the pull back to the family, the communal. And that's one of the reasons I moved to Chiang Mai, is to kind of really break away from the family, from the whole, conditioning of that, and allowing myself to find a space where I really can feel my own individual needs. What does it mean to be me, without influence from my community, my family, from anyone I know, just be with myself. And it is a very interesting journey to go through that. And so coming back to what I've been contemplating, the difference and what happened lately, with this coronavirus and, the isolation of individuals, that makes me realize one thing is that, it's really about, it's not about either or. This is what my teacher Brujoy used to talk about a lot, it's about both and. Can I choose both and? And that is also, Marion Whitman, she talks about holding the tension of the opposite. It's not about either or, it's not about that anymore. Maybe that's the past, that's how we grew up, the conditioning. But I really feel more and more that this future, if we have a future for human species, the future is not about either or. It's not about, choosing our individual needs or choosing the communal needs. The future is really about integrating both of those, because there is no individual without the community, and there's no community without the individual. And it's about bringing those two together. And I don't have an answer of how to do that. I'm still exploring, but this is my strong feelings that this is what we're moving towards. If we are going to get through this and really rise to meet our destiny as a human family. And because it's like we are, each individual is like a cell in the body. And when one part of the body is not feeling well, all the other parts rush to help that part. I mean, we experience that a lot with, we all have been through sickness, right? And we know that if we are feeling sick, let's say, like, use my example, I have gastritis, so it's just like this morning, I suddenly feel, it could be something I eat or whatever, I really don't know sometimes, what triggers that. But yes, so I have this illness in my body, which is gastritis, a chronic inflammation in my stomach that from time to time it flares up and it just causes pain, and so this morning it happens again. And when that happened, like all parts of me would just kind of really go into this stomach area. I put my hands there, I'll talk to my stomach, I try to soothe it. Sometimes, I put some, like a heat pad on, I'll put some oil on, rub it. The whole body, every part of my body will just go and attend to this one part that is sick. And this is how I feel with what's going on now in the world, that there are people, in the world, in some corners in the world now, that are feeling sick, or some has died, and some are still struggling to live. And then those who have passed away, they left behind their loved ones, their family, friends who are going through grief, and so there is sickness in our human family. And so it is not just those people out there, and it is not just a statistic of how many people die. It is one human being, one member of our human family that died, and that's what's happening. And I feel this whole situation is teaching us to value our vulnerability, because the body is vulnerable. I can totally go into the spiritual bypass. I know how tempting it is to go into the spiritual bypass and can just, transcend all these suffering and just see this as a play of a higher cause of elevating our human consciousness. I can see that. I can, and I really do. I can. And I feel that too, that part too. But I feel more towards, leaning towards the suffering and what we're going through, each of us is going through at this moment. So I'm just sharing this as part of my own contemplation, and I hope this helps, and because I feel we're all doing our best to make sense of what's going on and know our own role in all of this, because each one of us have a role to play. Each one of us, each action or inaction, from us, it's contributing, making an impact. So I'm doing my part as I feel called to. And so I would like to leave something useful, practical maybe, for everyone to think about or to practice. It's what I have been doing myself. I call this mindful hand washing, because you know how we have to wash our hands so much, and there are so many videos now online where you learn how to properly wash your hands. So I'm not going to teach you that because I'm not an expert. But what I want to do is, because I always like to kind of bring things together, and I feel that, during this time is the best to integrate, to bring things together. So one thing I've been integrating and bringing together is my mindfulness practice and hand washing my hands. So what I do is this, because when we wash hands, it has to be like 20 seconds. So some videos say, just sing happy birthday twice. That will be about the right time. But instead of singing happy birthday, I choose to do my mindfulness practice, okay? And it is what I shared earlier, the metta practice, loving kindness. You can either choose to send this metta to yourself, or you can send it out to the world. So what I usually do is this. I will kind of, put the soap on, put the water, and start rubbing my hand. And I would say, you can choose different phrases, but my first is I'm sending it to myself. May I feel safe. May I be well. May I be a good friend to myself. May I feel at ease and live with peace. May I be free from suffering, or anything, okay? Anything that you feel you want to wish for yourself, but really get into the moment. Take a pause, just before you start doing it. Just kind of take a breath and take a pause, and then start doing that metta. And then once I was finished doing that, maybe 4 or 5 phrases usually, that would be about 10 seconds. And then as I rinse the soap off, then I would do the second part, which is I will wish others. So I sometimes maybe choose one person that I feel I really want to send some metta to them, or I choose the world. May all beings be safe, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be free from suffering. So whatever phrases you choose. And I find that really helps me to come back to the moment and knowing that I'm washing my hands. And at the same time, using that little time, 20 seconds, to make an impact, make an impact to the world, which is by sending the loving kindness to myself first, and then to the world. So I hope this little video helps everyone, and I hope you are all well. And if you are in a time of feeling, sadness or, grief, or I need to wash my hands, or any of those emotions, or maybe you're feeling happy and peaceful, whatever that emotion is, I just wish that you know that you are courageous being here now. You are amazing being alive during this time. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this human family. I love you. Thank you.